Welcome to our coverage of the Paris Olympic Games. Puffy Chinese snow jackets, stars in the stands, and that one time Simone Biles crawled down the vault runway during warm-ups. It's July 28th, and I'm coming to you live from Paris, France. Welcome to the number one gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica, and I'm here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation. Welcome to all of our new listeners from around the world. If you have questions, you can join us live and ask them, and we'll try to get to everyone. But don't be just ask it once, and if we don't get to it, wait. Don't ask 30 times in a row.
Already, Jessica's adding. We haven't even hit a minute yet, and Jessica's like, but also don't be annoying.
But also, I've been up since 7:30 in the morning, and I think that's how it's midnight. Yeah. It's almost midnight now, so I don't know how many hours that is, but it's been a long. So I just want you to know we're going to try. We're going to do our best. And if you are a Club Gym member, switch to your members only feed now for the bonus discussion. Instructions are in the show notes. And we have a live show coming up this Friday, August 2nd, 9 p.m. Paris time, noon Pacific time. We're going to talk about the Olympics. We have some special guests. Portion of the proceeds are going to go to benefit refugee cats of Ukraine, shelter in Ukraine, and Henrietta Nodi's medical fund. Tickets on sale now at GymCastic.com. And okay, let's get to the results.
Yes. So team qualification for the women. 8 teams qualified to the team final. So we've got US, Italy, China, Brazil, top 4 as expected. Other things less expected. We have Brazil, Japan, or then after Brazil, Japan, Canada, Great Britain, and Romania qualifying as a team to the team final at the Olympic Games, because we're partying like it's 2004.
Yes. I'm using all my new sound effects here in
They sounded great.
I accidentally hit all the wrong ones.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Romania, but let's talk about the US first, because
we need to talk about the US first.
Wearing a disco ball.
They were wearing a disco ball. I don't hate this one, even though I hate all of them, Leo-wise. Just gonna say, but I think I'm in the minority there.
It looked great in the arena, and Oklahoma didn't want to steal it.
As I said yesterday, when asked about how today was going to go, I was like, the U.S. women are not going to have any drama. I don't see that happening in their performance. And then Simone was like, how about I crawl backwards down the vault runway? And everyone's going to freak out about how injured I might be. So we think it's fine, but will you tell us what the deal with Simone and the calf and the maybe injury is?
Yes. So from in the arena, you could see that she was saying as she was crawling, she was laughing and she was like, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. So that's one thing. The other thing is that she then got up and did her vault. So that's the other thing to know. But Cecile afterwards, in an interview with the press said, quote, Simone felt a little something in her calf, unquote. Cecile is Simone's coach. She had a little thing a few weeks ago and then it stopped. She felt better after bars. And also when she was asked, so we all go down to a big scrum and ask all these questions, and people kept asking her the same question. She's getting very annoyed. But someone asked, "Oh, was there any?"
Is that annoying?
Cecile is like you never see her get annoyed, and she was really like, you guys, I don't know.
I don't have anything else to tell you. I already answered the question.
Yeah, she needs to be evaluated. But she said there was no doubt in her mind, meaning Simone's mind, about finishing the meet and doing her 2 vaults. She's here. It seemed like she was going to compete no matter what. And I think she was just saving her legs. She sometimes, sits down before her events to rest. And so she was like, why walk when I can crawl and save my legs? So
yes, it's hopefully it is one of those things that looks way more dramatic than it actually is, which is what it sounds like right now. Because we're accustomed in gymnastics, if someone is crawling away from the vault, which we've seen before, it's a not good. And this sounds like right now one of those, more normal athlete injury, you felt something, a muscle injury, and you had to get taped and reevaluated, and the things that happen kind of in every sporting competition ever. So hopefully it's more that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I saw her when she came into the mix zone after, she didn't stop, and none of the US athletes stopped except I'm going to get to that in a second. But Simone came through. She had a significant limp, but she did like smile and say hi to everybody, and as she walked by. But I've also, let me put this in perspective. Yeah, she probably has an injury. Everyone here has an injury, but also like I've seen like Allie Raisman, for example, Glasgow 2015, limping into the competition, competed perfectly. So just everyone here has
You
something
do
going on.
you do what you can manage.
Right.
And at least what we know with Simone, as we've learned, is that if she can't do it, she's going to tell you.
Right. Very, very, very specifically. So, tell me what happened on the broadcast, because I watched it live in the arena
Okay.
when Jade did floor.
Funny thing about that, I was like, oh, they're giving us the event-specific feeds, NBC for this US rotation. I'll just have those on so I can live blog like the Chinese and the Italians and the things NBC won't focus on. So I watched only the routines. And the funny thing about that is I had no idea anything was wrong with Simone until after the competition ended, because I was just watching the routines. And I think that's kind of significant, that if you just watch their actual competition routines, you wouldn't have known anything was going on with Simone. I did see that one warm-up vault, the one Yurchenko double pike where she landed kind of short. And if something was wrong, you would be like, oh, that's the one that looked like it would have hurt. And she was like, this is fine.
Yep. So Jade goes and does her
Yeah, we
floor.
need to talk about Jade and floor.
And like we have seen that Jade has, so her dad was here. He's here. He was on the floor. He was with her. All seems well there. Jade has had a problem with the last pass in her floor routine all season. We've seen her need a spot on it. She usually pulls it out in competition, but it's been a thing. So today, Spencer, what did you see?
Yeah, so well, first of all, she did downgrade her floor routine even before that final pass. She didn't do the Moors, she did a full twisty double layout and then a double layout after that. So she was not going for everything. Then it looked like, it's a combination pass. It looked like overshot it, didn't have the double tuck that she was intending, did a single back tuck and safely was like, this isn't happening. I'm going to land to my back, which is, you thought it was not safe. I thought it looked to me like a decision, like, I need to just land this to my back.
I feel like she was like, I'm going to pull this double back out of my ass right now because I'm Jade Carey. And then she got into that flip and then was like, oh my God, I don't think I can do it. And so she basically stopped herself but kept rotating. But thank God she just landed on her back and bounced. But it was scary. Like only because
you were more scared of it than I was.
Yeah, I was only because she's Jade Carey. I feel like she stopped her rotation and didn't land on her neck. So Suni almost had a heart attack.
We did see that. That Suni was like, "What is going on?"
That was also my reaction. Me and Suni had the same reaction. So we did not. We all asked Cecile and Chellsie Memmel, what's going on, what's happening, and Chellsie was like, I think I know what happened, but that is not for me to say. That's for Jade to share if she wants to. And like on the one hand, I was kind of annoyed when we found out the answer because I was like, why don't you just say it? But on the other hand, I really like that Chellsie was like, it's not my information to share, it's the athlete's information to share, and if she wants to, I defer to the athlete. That's something we never would have heard before. So what's interesting is Jade specifically wanted people to know what was happening. So she asked who she should talk to and then asked specifically for Scott Bregman at the Olympic Channel. So this is his story, and that I giving credit is very important. So she talked to him and Allie Raisman. Allie Raisman's here with the Olympic Channel. And she said that she has been sick for a couple of days and that she just hasn't been able to eat. So she just had no energy. And she just really wanted people to know what's going on. Like she wanted people to know why that happened. And she just, and now I understand why she went for that double back and then was like, oh my God, I don't think I'm going to make it. And that's really scary. And I also understand why, for me, like I felt like her podium training was not good. And now I understand, like, if she's been sick for a little while. So that's what happened.
Why like that one burst of vault is more manageable for her than a full floor routine. You can kind of see that if you just don't have that energy. Jade, I feel you.
There's another thing I want to tell you about that happened with the US team besides their gymnastics, and that was that Snoop is here working with NBC, and he asked if he could sit with Jordan Child's parents. And so he sat with them. And there were, I don't know if you saw any of this, but like there were many interactions between athletes on the floor and Snoop, and also the US team and Snoop. There was a whole time before floor where the whole US team was like dancing at Snoop, and then he got up and danced with them before they started their floor warm up, which I absolutely loved. And then I ran into Gina afterwards when I was getting lunch,
Gina
and
Childs, Jordan's mom.
Sorry, yeah, that's Jordan Child's mom. And she was like, it was so great sitting with him. Like, he was really interested. He asked a lot of questions. And he also said, like, I'm going to bring everyone here to see this. These are the real athletes before LA 2028. Everyone needs to see them. Like, we need to make women's sports huge. And I was like, yes, this is the best thing ever. Like, she was so, like, she was actually on the phone with Jordan at the time. And I was like, I don't want to bother you, but she like wanted me to tell me this stuff. And then I could hear Jordan be like, mom. Like,
we're in the middle of a conversation.
Like, can you stop talking about how great Snoop is and how he wants to elevate women's sports? So anyway, I was so pleased to hear that.
Okay, other things, because we have other countries. There's a lot more to talk about. Other things you want to say before the US, before we start talking about Brazil?
I just want to say there's definitely upgrades to be made. Suni can upgrade on beam. Suni
certainly, yeah.
Upgrade on bars. There were some little things. Hesley did a nice job of, like, Hesley had a fall on beam, but she did a nice job of setting the table on bars. And I think this will be like a great experience for her. And her gymnastics is so beautiful. So I hope we can look forward to seeing more of her in LA. And the coming years.
And we have, like, I want to go into the nitty gritty because I think the US has some conversations to have about who goes up in the team final now that maybe we weren't expecting. With Hesley, it was like that beam routine was, oh my God, it's the Olympics. That was such an, oh my God, it's the Olympics beam routine. And then she got to bars and she was like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I got this. Bars is fine.
Yep.
Okay, Brazil.
Oh my God, you guys.
In the last subdivision. So they've qualified in 4th as a team. We have 4/10 separating Italy, China, and Brazil in the 2 through 4 spots in qualification, which is very exciting to me personally, heading into the team final. Rebecca Andrade fulfilled the prophecy, I think, overall in qualification, did what she needed to do, qualified in 2nd all around, had a few things. She saved that big arch on bars, where I was 90% of people are going over on that handstand. She pulled it back. She was like, I'm calm. I'm collected. I've done this before, and I'm going to pull this back. Beam was excellent. Made the event final. Floor, she didn't not go for it. She was on the verge of out of control on every pass, and the judges were like, we love you for it. Here, you're in 2nd.
She also downgraded her floor routine a little bit with her tumbling, but I loved her front pass, her front full step out too. Was it front full step out to a full in? Was her first pass that she did this time? She didn't do the whip double layout, so there's more things she can add. I knew Brazil was going to hit when they walked out. And first of all, they have the best like capoeira pants, are like yellow with a black stripe down the side. I'm obsessed with them. I at some point I'm gonna find out how to get a pair of those pants. But anyway, I love them. But they were like serious marching, like military style. Like usually they are like the most fun, having a great time team, and they were like all business. And I was like, oh, they are gonna hit all their routines and they are gonna do it. But then, and the other thing, remember I was talking about Julia Suarez and how she was having a really hard time and like kept balking on her. It took her so many times and balking on her dismount, especially on beam and anything backwards. No problems today. Totally looked like her normal self. No problems on floor. No problems on beam. She
did the beam final.
Made the beam final as she should. She was incredible. Flavia was attacked by invisible spiders.
On a switch leap, Jessica. On a switch leap.
And her coach, I talked to her coach afterwards.
Because we can't have good things. All things are terrible, and the Olympics are canceled, and Flavia's not in any individual apparatus finals.
I'm not ready to talk about that. Her coach was like, yeah, she normally doesn't fall on that. And that was a surprise. But let me tell you the great thing about Flavia. They constructed a floor routine that has like can music and French stuff. And the minute that routine, the music came on, the crowd went nuts. They clapped the entire time. It was like there was like all the hint of a note on the floor routine, and the crowd was
They were already
clapping.
like, they had to hear one note, and they were like, Flavia's my queen.
They're obsessed. Yeah, and we're like, well, this is correct.
Yeah.
So that was like a great moment that, yeah, we thought she would make more finals. She didn't, but like she made a statement, and the French crowd absolutely loved her, as they should.
So room to improve. So when we look at Brazil qualifying in fourth, you also look at room to improve in terms of Flavia scores on beam and floor. She can score a lot higher than that. I was also like, they were giving out floor execution scores like candy today, and then Flavia's was kind of low, and I was like, oh, now we're not giving like an 8-2 to everything. Okay. My question is, am I just really cranky, or was the scoring like London 2012 soft today? You can say it's just because I'm really cranky. That's a valid answer I've given you as one of the options. I was just like, no, too high.
I mean, I agree. It was a little bit too high. It was a little bit too high. But I
was
think
ready for like Tokyo level. We're just going to destroy all of your routines. And they really didn't. And we saw a lot of very wobbly beam routines break 8 in execution.
Yeah, that was the part I was like, what the hell is this? This is unacceptable. It's a 5. You're getting a 5. I want to tell you about my discussion with Rebecca's coach after the meet. So I asked him, so we've all been waiting. You are teasing with this year Tango triple. When is it going to happen finals? And he was like, well, we'll see. Medals are the blah, 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 the whole speech about medals. And I was like, listen, dude, when
just was like, do you know me? I don't care about medals. I just want to see cool gymnastics.
I was like, okay, so basically vault finals. And he was like, yeah, we'll see, what it takes to medal. And I was like, so what you're saying is if she goes after Simone and then
she will.
Which she will, and she needs that bump in score, she will do the Yurchenko triple to medal. Is that what you're telling me? And he was like, that is currently the strategy, and we'll see. And then I jumped and did a dance and was very excited and then ran as fast as I could to the metro to get back here and report this to you.
Yeah, for the draw of the vault final. So Simone would go 4th and Andrade would go 6th. So she will be able to see what Simone has done and then make an assessment about whether she needs to do some more vaulting. So
I'm not saying we should hope everyone does it really well, so she has to do the Trinko triple full, but I'm just saying safely.
It's fine. I can hope for nice everyone does really well. That's actually fine to say. You can say, I hope everyone does really well.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's okay. You can't be me and be like, I hope everyone falls. That's what apparently you're not allowed to do.
The other awesome thing was after her beam routine, I think it was, and she had finished her beam like, I don't know, 3 minutes ago. She was down, hanging out, just sitting in the chairs, and the crowd just started chanting her name. The whole arena started chanting her name, and I was like, I love it here. These people are the best. We're staying. But that was, one of the good parts of the day. They weren't all great.
Speaking of, before we get to our other team contenders like Italy and China, we should talk about France. And what happened there? So France's women's competition at the Olympics is done after qualification. They didn't advance to the team final, no individual finals, including the all-around. No more gymnastics for Melanie. Are you okay in general? Like, are you personally, Jessica, okay? No.
No one in the arena was okay.
No one's okay. Yeah.
No one's okay. No, everyone was like traumatized. I will say the best thing about that subdivision was the crowd doing everything they could to lift Melanie's spirits in particular, because Melanie basically was in tears almost the entire time. And it was the crowd chanted her name as well. And she heard it and she smiled and, and she was better for a little while. She had, it was just awful. And it wasn't until finally some of the athletes came down and talked to the media, and we figured out, or we found a clue about what had happened. And it turns out it wasn't nerves. It wasn't the pressure of being at a home Olympic Games. 2 athletes said Melanie did not talk to the press. She did stop and congratulate other athletes and hug them and stuff, but she was still crying and she just went through and went out, which is totally understandable. But 2 of the athletes said there was an incident right before they competed that is what caused basically the meltdown. And we don't know what that is. They did not want to share what that was, but there was something specific that happened right before the competition. So I will see if I can find out what that is. But yeah, that's all the information I have about it.
And basically, so to go into the gymnastics of what happened, it was right from the start on bars. Cecile fell right at the beginning of her bars routine, and then Melanie struggled. She had to improvise a hip circle and then fell later on a pirouette. And then beam, she grabbed the beam, goes to floor, falls on a double layout. It was just, a snowballing effect of misses and misses and misses. And we had France as, a definite favorite to advance to the team final. They won bronze at Worlds last year. And so to not have them in the team final is a huge surprise. And really, it needed to be a snowball of lots and lots of mistakes to have those scores go down enough to be out of the team final. And that's exactly what happened.
The best part of the day was Italy, just so you know.
Oh, really? Was your favorite part of the day Italy? That's a real surprise. Yeah, okay. Tell me about how great Italy was.
Giorgia Vila hit bars. Esposito stuck her bar dismount. Emily at the Washington Post and you would both agree that it was an absolute stuck dismount.
Then it counts.
First of all, that's the only way it counts. Iorio fell off beam, but that was like the only moment that they had problems. They were amazing.
They were looking at her foot a lot after that, and she looked kind of in discomfort. So I was concerned about that, but
I feel
qualified
like
in second.
When she did her double pike, when you do a double pike,
sure.
And your ankle bones slam into each other when you're trying to like get your legs together. And to me, that's what it looked like happened. But then they were looking at the bottom of her foot, so I don't know. But they were just like so on, and they were so very positive and happening. And I talked to Esposito a little bit afterwards, and she was just like, so proud of the team and really looking forward to finals. So I just think like it's finally their time. Play Italian opera music. It's happening.
Do you forgive them for not putting Giorgia Vila on beam?
I mean, I don't know.
There's still the team final, is what I'm going to say.
I know.
There's still a team final. You can say, hey, you're hitting beam.
Exactly.
A big thing for me in Italy's performance was the Yurchenko double fulls, which were upgrades or re-upgrade for Elisa Iorio. It's been a long time. Manila Esposito added it back. I thought Esposito's in particular looked better than it did at Italian championships not that many weeks ago. So that was a nice improvement. And it was one of the areas of concern without Asia D'Amato. Do they have the difficulty on vault? Are they comfortable enough with those vaults? Iorio had a bigger bounce back, and we'll see how she is with her foot. But in general, they did look comfortable with those vaults.
Let's talk about China. Because they placed third, and they had the highest.
It was almost amazing. It was almost perfect. It started, and they hit bars, and I was like, "You guys, it's happening! You guys, it's happening!" And then Joe qualified, did an amazing beam routine, and qualified first, and I was like, "It's happening! It's happening!" It didn't fully happen, but still enough good that China qualified in third place and is right there, poised. They, as we've talked about many times, they have the routines to medal. It's whether they stay on during them.
This is how
or
good
most
China
of them,
is.
because they were third today with Chu Chi-Yun and Oh Yushan falling on beam.
They had 2 falls, and they're in third still after Brazil competed. That's how good they are. Like China, you guys. This is what I'm saying.
That's what happens when you can get a 15 on bars too, which also Kalia Namor taught us in the all-around standings. She's like, if you get a 15-6 on bars and you upgrade to your Shango double full, you could have little things and it don't really matter.
Little things. You can fall off the event completely, take a little rest for 30 seconds, get back up.
Did she fall? I thought she
Kaylee
just
Namor.
had
No, I was talking about Oyu Sean and
Oh, okay. I was still
yeah,
talking about Kaylee Namor. I
I
was
was
like, she
talking about
had little
China.
things on Beam
I just have to tell you one more thing about China. I knew they were going to have a great day when, first of all, they have like, you walk into the arena, it's like 1,000 degrees because it's like, uh, lit with the sun and humid and all of this. And then you walk into the dark arena part and it's so cold. I have to wear a sweater in there. So I knew it was going to be good when China had their big, puffy astronaut down to their ankles
You were
jackets.
making fun of me yesterday for loving those jackets.
But I knew it was going to be good because they were wearing your favorite thing. And that's not all. They were dancing and posing for the camera. And I was like, this nature is healing. China is ready. This is their year. Italy and China, medals. That's what's going to happen. Team medals,
Okay, but
all the
you've also
medals.
picked Brazil and the US for medals, so someone's not going to.
Listen, they're if they all get exactly the same E and D prelim and team final scores, they can tie.
I'm not acknowledging you.
How dare you? Oh my god, I have so many more stories to tell you guys. But I want to specifically tell you about one thing that's happening. We have a new fantasy game that's going up. So fantasy scores from today have just updated. If you're playing gymcastic.com, go to fantasy play, go to the public game. We will launch our second Olympic game for event finals. So hopefully we'll have it built by tomorrow. And we'll send out the newsletter to let you know. If you're not signed up to newsletters, on our website, there's a little drop down. You can sign up for all the newsletters. I also want to tell you some behind the scenes stories. We're going to go more in depth on the rest of the teams and a lot of the individuals and talk about. I have to tell you about what happened right before Nina Durwell did her bar routine. It was super scary. And they paused the bar warm up. I want to tell you about that. But I also want to tell you about how I almost had to buy Niall Wilson lunch today and why I made Elsa Garcia run away from me.
Jessica.
That also But I want to tell you about, if you're new to how this coverage works, this is how our Olympic coverage works. Spencer gets up at 5:30 in the morning and does an interview with BBC World Service.
I was already up.
You're already up. Oh my god. So Spencer did an interview with BBC World Service, which I am so excited about because I grew up listening to BBC World Service and I still listen
do not
to them.
remember a thing that I said. I'm sure it's garbage. It was not even 6 in the morning.
I've been on like BBC radio many times, but never World Service, and I couldn't do it. And I was like, Spencer fulfilled my dream. So I'm so pleased. So he makes all the gifts in the spreadsheets, and then I go to the arena. Like I woke up at 7:30 this morning, went to the arena, watched every single subdivision, interviewed athletes, coaches, officials after the meet. This is how I'm able to tell you the specifics and not just speculate on what happened with someone or speculate on what's going on with Simone's calf from what was potentially maybe seen or not on TV. Like, can actually go and ask her coach and ask the coordinator what's happening, what information do you have, what information do you not have. And also today, like, I was able to go to the mix zone, and after the first rotation where like everyone fell on bars, particularly the British, except Becky Downey, I was able to go and ask all the teams in that subdivision, because almost all of them had falls. Was there something wrong with the bars? Is there something wrong with the lights? That's the kind of thing that you can do when you're in person, and it costs money to do that. Then I go to the Metro, I fly back here, and we record, and then I edit afterwards, and then I put up the audio and all of that stuff, and then I try to sleep a tiny bit before the next day starts. So if you're a Club Gym member, you can watch us record live and ask us questions. And the headlines are always available to everyone, and we put that out publicly. But we do this extra bonus stuff when we do this coverage every single day at a major event, because it costs a lot to come here. And behind the scenes section for our Club Gym members, they're the ones that foot the bill. They're the ones that support us all year long, all quad long. And so we want to give them something special and tell them the extra stories. So if you would like to join and hear the bonus stuff, please check it out at Club Gym Nerd at gymcastic.com. And otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow after the men's. What's tomorrow?
Men's team.
Men's team final. I'll be
It's
watching
okay,
that
Jessica.
tomorrow.
It's at night your time. You get to sleep.
I get to sleep. I'm so excited to sleep. Yeah, so we'll see you back here then. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow. So, here's what happened.